a nap for 3 hours. Whoops. I took a nap for about 3 hours after I had lunch. I had a really long lunch because it took me like an hour or so to prepare everything, and then there was like another hour and a half of intermittent lunching. But when I got up, the pillow was still. I want it to be hot when it comes out, so I put it in for another cycle or two because I want to make sure that it's thoroughly dry all the way through. I don't want any mildew or anything like that. Um, but I was watching Cakes by Alejandro on TikTok while I started redoing my hair, by the way. But Cakes by Alejandro on TikTok, and she was doing a cake for a guy that ordered a cake for a female in his life's 30th birthday, right? 30th birthday. And she started talking about the theme was from a movie, Mariposa de Barrio, right? And basically, it's like, I guess, the docu-pic or something, biopic of this singer called Jenny Rivera. So I wanted to check the movie out because he included a quote from the movie on the cake. So if you guys are interested in watching it, it is free on YouTube, and it's in Spanish, but you can use English subtitles. Mariposa de Barrio, right? And it's supposed to reflect her life from, where she came from to where she became this big singer and celebrated. I had an opportunity to listen to a little bit of her music through the movie, and I really liked the words. I always love the words on Spanish or Latin songs, but they were kind of meaningful. It's her celebrating herself, even though it's almost like the equivalent. One of the songs that was on there was the equivalent of Maya Angelou's Phenomenal Woman. I don't look like this, I don't look like that, but she's celebrating her, and I think it's really beautiful. So it is free, like I said, on YouTube, and there's different chapters on it. I'm looking at Capitulo Uno, and it's under Telemundo Novelas. But when I thought about that, it made me really sad because, and I'm gonna cry. For those of you that don't know, I'm South Korean and Black. I was disowned by my mom officially, and understandably, because officially like 8 years ago, right? And probably long before that, and I just didn't know it. I went through this legal thing, and as a result of that, it's a lot, but it hurts. Let me see if I can verbalize it. As a result of that, there were a lot of lifestyle changes that were made, and in order for me to survive, I had to take on the persona, of the homeless. I was quartered to homeless, and so I had to kind of, when you go to places like that, the people, and even the people that I'm exposed to now, and a lot of us are exposed to, there are a lot of low-level people in high-level places. And when I say that, I mean people that are willing to gossip, to lie, to manipulate. And, and me being innocent, I was just like, oh, maybe they didn't know the impact, but I had to have Black people that kind of cared, only one or two, tell me. And shout out to those, nice Black people over town. One was a girl that I worked with, another one was a neighbor. Her boyfriend told me, and she was just like, they knew, the impact that this would have. They just didn't care. And I couldn't fathom that, And then there was a guy that I believe that was planted by whoever was investigating, because I didn't date or anything like that. And just, a lot. And things got back, and things that were misperceived were probably communicated as fact, to my family. And maybe that's part of the reason, I don't know. But even now, recently, like in the last 3 or 4 months, I've had situations that, people were intentionally trying to manipulate, and it's been ongoing for a while, my reputation, and they didn't care what the impact was, you know what I'm saying? And, with me, the way that I am, it's just like, I don't like to fight, so I put my head down and I try to keep on the path that I'm going, And just so far, I'm only like 8 minutes into the movie, and we're at the part where it's flashing back to the beginning of her story, where she was born in 1987, I guess, in Los Angeles. And her mom, I don't know who the actress is that plays her mom, but I've seen her before, and I think she's a good actress. But, she's basically in a domestic violence situation where her husband or boyfriend or whatever, he's chasing her. She went to work, and I'm guessing he just stays home and all day. And she went to work, and he's calling her a whore. She goes out with makeup on. She's going to work, and then she's probably stopping off somewhere. And things like that can happen. I know, because there was a dude. I know, like I said, I've seen some things. There was a dude that I was talking to, and I remember he would go to work right on time, come home right on time. But then I thought back about it, when we were quote unquote friends before we actually, became closer. And again, not even innocent, you don't know. He actually took off work on days to help me do things. So when I was with him, I thought, is he taking off work to do things with other people too? I didn't think about that until long afterwards, And then the one day that he was 2 minutes, he was like exactly on time at X o'clock on the dot. He was at home, But one day he was 2 minutes late, and I wasn't sweating it. And he was like, he had taken some pills or something. I didn't even know it was like that. But anyhow, with the situation, the woman is trying to get away from him, right? And he grabs her to force her to digest this negative things that he's saying to her. And like I said, for me, the only situations that I have with other people really, and I'm really trying to get out of that. I really don't want to, employment to me is like an institution. I don't want anything else to do with it. But what choice do I have? Because, I'm not a fighter. I believe that the more that you fight with monsters, you have to become one, because you have to know how they think, and you have to start to move the way they move in order to fight the way they fight. And I'm not doing that. I'm not, I tell you, when I'm glad to have 50 years, and when my days are over, I would like them to end with my integrity still intact, my sanity still intact, because I think that can fuck with your sanity. But I need, like I said, this place I need to fix. I'm working on it, But it just made me think of, employment situations where, and that's how that first thing, they want to hold you there, and it's just like, and they want to breathe and seek this poison into your system. And I'm like, no, you can keep that. I'm not going to try to change your mindset, your views. You can keep that, but I have a whole nother world out here for me, and that was when I was younger. I still believe that I have a whole nother world out here for me, but the thing that's a little disappointing is that now I have an understanding that, people really don't necessarily mean you well. People do know the impact, and sometimes they intentionally, they feel powerful when they know that what that impact is, and they go through it. And it's such thing as groupthink, it's easy, and that's why I think it's a prize on many points that I stand alone, so I just wanted to share that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my hair. I just looked up and there's absolutely nobody here, but eventually there will be. But I wanted to pour out my heart, I guess, to the camera on that, because, it really touched my soul. And I guess I'll be back when I find some more things that touch me. But that's the other question that comes to place. What if I pour out my heart and soul and there's nobody here to hear it? Will that make me lose my mind? Will I go crazy? Because I think that we're all interconnected in a certain type of way, and we have to, be grounded by the environments that we're in. So if I'm not getting love from other people, how can I produce the love inside of me to create an environment of love for me, And right now, the environment that I have, I'm aware of it, The spirit in it is very strong and it's very good. But the actual physical environment, as far as creating, manifesting one of love, I'm not doing that, Like right now, I'm in the process of trying to um, create an environment of love. But first, I have to get rid of all the debris, And it's kind of like, I've always said, even when I was like 15, 16, what's inside of you appears on the outside. Look at my body, look at my place, So I have to knock down all those negative things that have been fed into me that I've built on, and I have to be able to bulldoze and clear them all out. And then from there, be able to clean up, dry some tears and rebuild something beautiful, And, my concern is that my place right now is not representing that, But, I can't give up on it. I have to keep trying. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't give up on it. I definitely have to keep trying. What in the world is going on? But anyhow, so yeah, I saw a bug. But, and you guys may see one occasionally. But yeah, so if you have an opportunity, do check out Mariposa de Barrio. It's free on YouTube. It's in Spanish. You can use English subtitles. If you like stories about people overcoming, especially if you like women's stories, please do. Yeah, so, but that's concerning to me too. What if I get absolutely no love from the outside? Will I still continue on? So I have to somehow ground myself mentally, physically, socially, financially in a way that even if, I have no outside love, I have to somehow spark something inside of me and somehow get an ambition and a passion going to get things done. I have to somehow ground myself and speak for myself. And that was what the purpose of the day was, Kujichagulia, self-determination, that principle from Kwanzaa, to define ourselves, name ourselves. And let me just put it to me, because I don't have a community, obviously. So to define myself, to name myself, and to create for myself and speak for myself. So each day I need to just change these things more and more, to define myself, to name myself, create for myself, and speak for myself. But back to, the Barrio de Mariposa, what was concerning to me about that was that going back to being South Korean and Black and watching this movie, which is Spanish, what made me sad about it is that I was exposed to this movie by watching a TikTok by Cakes by Alejandro, and someone ordered a request for a Mariposa de Barrio cake. And what made me sad is that being South Korean, I don't even see South Korean people on my TikTok often. And when I do see them, it makes me sad, because I remember I used to go in and follow every Korean person when I missed my mom, because I missed her, and I wanted, those types of things to show up on my timeline, so that I could see. And, the chances of me running across something like a Korean person talking about a Korean movie of a struggle, like there's Korean and Black artists that are out there, but I haven't heard any documentaries on their life stories. I would love for someone to do that, And then it saddens me too, because I think about me being almost 50 years old, being this age, you shouldn't be the person that wants to, that has the mindset that you would love, for someone to create that, or that you would love for this to be. I should be the creator. And that's one thing that scares me. I am proud to be here on this planet, proud to have an opportunity to do little things, but, the things that I would like to get beyond little things, like the teeniest thing is what I'm doing that has no impact on anyone but me, and the smallest thing, just cleaning up, just the laundry, which I'm still doing. The pillows are still drying, I will never run across there's no Korean and Black movies, there's no movie of the life story of a Korean and Black person, Can we get a Heinz Ward story? Can we get a, I don't remember the names, In Young Jinx, or, there, what's her name? I don't remember. There's a few of them, that are Korean by culture and nationality fully because they were born and raised there, Korean and Black, right? Or even a Korean and Black person here. And I used to follow like every single person that I knew was Korean and Black, But again, somehow, I can't get any love from any of those communities, not Black, not Korean, and so it's just, it makes me sad because when I come across more Latin people on my timeline, and then, even though I love different cultures, that's not my culture, and I'm glad to be introduced. I love different languages and cultures. I'm glad to be introduced, to these life stories of these people and struggles, because in the end, we're all human. But I would love, to see a biopic of an Afro-Amerasian person, specifically Korean, because to me there's a big difference. But it's not, and the chances and likelihood of me coming across it is not. The other day, a couple of weeks ago, I came across this movie just by happenstance because it was on a Korean cinema TikTok channel, and it was called, I forgot what it was called. It was a really weird name, but that was pretty interesting, but I couldn't watch it all because it made me so sad. It made me so sad because, the way that the girl's mom treated her reminds me of, my mom, except I missed the part when the mom slept with, my mom was that type of person, as far as I was growing up. But, as far as my mom, disowning me, that was so hurtful. I ended up putting my whole life story in the comment section, But what difference does, an Afro-Korean of American, Afro-Korean, life experience, what does that mean? The majority of the people in there were Korean, so, they're not relating on the point of, to them there's just a Black person, and I've had the opportunity of some of the people that I followed that were Korean to see, it's hurtful, to see, them, making comments about straight Black people, and basically they probably didn't realize they were doing it, but they were ignoring some Black guy that was talking to them in the comments, but they were responding to others. The Black guy got upset and, responded back to them in Korean. And then the guy, which, I thought was just a nice young Korean kid, when I say kid, he's got to be like somewhere between 20 and 30. But, he was just like, oh, this Black guy came in here and he must have went on Google Translate. I'm like, wow, really? Google Translate for me is a good thing. I used it when, to check my language and see if, when I'm speaking, does it understand me? So I was speaking to, and so why gaslight somebody like that? If you didn't respond or you overlooked it, okay. But, don't tear someone down and tear them down for, trying to learn. And then I seen Black people do the same thing, like a white person would say something about, try to use African American vernacular. And then this one girl that didn't even look like she was full Black or real Black, she was saying how, oh, we're not teaching them our language. I was like, that's not the type of heart that I have. I believe in education and learning, and each one teach one, and that we enjoy and we appreciate our own unique cultures, whether it be a full culture, a half culture, or a variation of whatever, And so it hurts me to see Black people bigot people like that, and it hurts me to see people that I consider, my people, Korean people, to bigot folks like that, And it hurts me the amount of love, like I said, that I put into people because you look like my mom. And then remembering how that woman put her hands on me. And not only, that was very hurtful, because I think about all the times when Black Lives Matter were out, And there was a lot of hate that was being spewed by black people about how the Korean, well, not Korean specifically, but the Asian, American communities were getting just so much. And then I thought back about that video about that 16-year-old Korean girl that went into a store to buy a drink, and the lady shot her. So it hurts me. I can intentionally go out of my way, and I don't know how I feel about that. I need to see more Korean content because I need more exposure to it, and then I see Korean people, and like when that lady put her hands on me, and then it's the black community too. She was, it was like she wanted to show that she had an affiliation with the black community, so she was using African American vernacular against me. I was like, and she wanted to show that I was not a part of her. You know what I'm saying? And then there were comments that were made because, in my awe, I did mention it to someone because, like I said, I noticed that all the little stores were acting weird towards me, and, I had my headphones on, but I didn't catch it, but I'm pretty sure it was something like, oh, she kind of looks like one of them. And I remember going into a Korean store when I was in Orlando off of Paramore, and it wasn't a Korean store, it was like a little convenience store owned by Korean people. And I remember when I went in, part of me felt like home because I saw the black, not black, but and at this point it wouldn't be an ajashi anymore, but I saw the Korean guy and the wife, and it made me feel like home because I recognized the feeling. I recognized immediately South Korean. And when I bump into North Koreans, I recognize the difference too because they don't feel the same, and they were on an elevated platform. I walked into the store, and I always felt weird because I miss my mom so much. And so, when I go into places like that, I immediately try to come back out because people can feel your energy and your vibe, And a lot of times they know, and I don't want it to just be weird. So I started to walk out. There was a bunch of teenage black boys in there. And when I started to walk out, the boy looked at me in my face, and he looked at the Korean man in his face, and you could see the look on his face like, oh, she one of them. When I walked out, one of the boys grabbed me around the waist. I turned around to say something to him. The other boy snatched my phone and took off and ran. And this was at the time when, near Martin shooting. Then there were black boys. I mean, I had so many situations with black people, young black people, young black boys and girls, teenagers, So, I don't know, where do I find my people? Where are my people that are my people, spiritually? Where are my people that are my people? I mean, I don't know where to find my people. Here I am watching Mary Post De Barrio. And, I'm enjoying it, but that's, and I appreciate it. And there was another video that I saw on TikTok where this girl, she was adopted, and you could tell she was obviously racially diverse, but you really couldn't tell what, there was some brown in there somewhere. And, I remember her saying, she really didn't know because she was adopted. And then different communities and cultures would say, well, you can be this, you can be that. And it was so funny because I related to that. When I was in South Florida, I remember the Spanish people did that to me because I remember I was in the store and this girl, she was Venezuelan, light brown Venezuelan. And she said to me, and I told her I was Korean and black, but I didn't have whatever. She was just like, well, you can be Spanish now. And she was like, we'll speak Spanish together and you'll be, and she was just telling me she could tell basically, I guess, that I was an orphan. You'll be Spanish now. And, Haitian people, same thing, they were offering me a hand into culture, but I'm a different person now. I'm not as cute. I've had enough disappointments where it starts to show on the outside, and enough bad talk, whether I know about it or not, that goes around that, there is no acceptance, and it's just, it's like, and this movie has nothing to do with it, but back in the 80s there's a movie, I think it's called Desperately Seeking Susan. Just the title of it gets it. It's just like desperately seeking my people. Where are the good people? Where are the people that, love learning, that love knowledge, that love education? Where are the people that love supporting and encouraging others? Where are those? And I feel like they're there, but there's like some like level of a veil between me and them where I can't connect to that level because, people talk a good game when it comes to, I forgot even what the title of this was. I need to get back to doing my hair because if not, it'll be half done again. But, people talk a good game about, helping people, and you see all these folks, and great videos and to meet great people. But I don't know, like, I feel like the people that I admire and I respect, I feel like they wouldn't have any for me. And I kind of know it, because then I don't know, like I said, I'm not in any clique or I'm not in any social group or whatever where I don't know, if there are things being said or if there's things being perceived or, I have no idea, what's going on. But it's just, I feel like there's a barrier, and it's like I feel like somehow, some way, I have to carve my own path, for me to be authentically me, and for me to make some goodness and create some goodness in this world. And if I can somehow get a foundation of that I create, that if there are other people, somehow make something firm that other people can stand on, and I want to definitely, like I said, at this point, just if I could just be good to myself, and I'm mad at myself because I don't remember, like I said, what the title of this was. I should have jotted it down, because then when I get off of here, there's going to be other points that I wish I touched on. But I'll leave it at that. And I know if I hop back on here because I have a thought or an emotion that comes up, I know next time to jot it down. But, that's how I feel. I don't. And I remember people noticed it before that, because I talked about some guy a while back. I forgot what I was saying about him. But, he was just like, oh, and I guess he knew too, he was like, oh, the girls in Miami kind of remind me of you. They have curly hair like you and whatever, you're similar to them. And so I was like, well, I have planned on going down there anyway. And then people in Hawaii, you look like you could be Polynesian. Why don't you go there? And honestly, when I look at TikTok, I see a lot of Samoan people, and the Samoan men especially, and some of the females, I do see similarities, but just because you look similar. And then I remember someone saying there was a Mexican girl and I looked like a black Mexican. But, some of the people, just because you may look similar to these people, they may not have love and appreciation for you because, you don't have others, love and support around you. So somehow I have to create that, because I believe that love that I have inside of me, and just, I believe it's worthy. But I guess, let me just see if I can create an environment of love for myself. And when I do, hopefully it'll blossom into something which will create an environment of love for other people. That's what I want to sow. That's what I want to plant, and that's what I want to grow. But anyhow, I'm going to go back to this movie. I'm sorry that I don't remember what the title of this was. So I had other things I probably wanted to talk about, but I don't remember them. Anyhow, let's get to it. And you can hear the dryer going in the back. And I have my 5-minute timer on for every 5 minutes. So I'm keeping track of my time.